Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Friday, December the 1st, the year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Weekly wrap-up, monthly open. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And since we're starting the month, let's make sure we start the month right. Let's not lose any more on any one single trade than we're willing to lose. I know you've heard that once, twice, or more. So, weekly wrap up. All the open gaps filled. You can see here, right now we're 28 pips off the high, 114 above the low, 98 above the open. So definitely we've got price moving up here. On the monthly open, you can see here, we've got price moving up. We're 82 pips above the monthly open today. 11 off the high and 94 off the low. And notice that we broke out of that weekly opening range here. You see we actually came down. We came down really close to the open for the week, but then we turned around, went across the day at 26.22, call it 22.23, then shot through 26.43 and went all the way up past 2700. So you can see here right now we're 61 pips above the opening range for the week. And for the year, you can see we're 603 pips above. You can see last month closed green. This month's green. We're in that upper wick zone. And at the present, we're 615 pips above the yearly open. And we're 437 off the high and 903 off the low. Notice we've got some inside bar action. Here's that weekly inside bar from 13 weeks ago. We're in that area again, so look for a breakout. 27.45 to the north, 25.62 to the south. Notice we've got a bunch of inside bar action here on the monthly. Not so much on the weekly, a little bit on the daily. But the pound is it looks like the pound's the only, or no, we've also have the New Zealand Swiss franc, and looks like the dollar Swiss is heading into that inside bar action too. For the range, 105 pips today on the pound, so we've got a big, lots of movement on this opening day here. Look, and the euro is definitely moving. The euro Japan, Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand dollar, all moving. And notice the dollar yen's 140 pips below the open. Nice range on the dollar yen, 169. Notice the buy zone here, shot right across that daily open and continued upwards. Red rats, get ready to feast. I don't believe, let's see, there might have been enough pips for the green rats to feast here, but you could play that even though the range may not have been large enough. You could have still played that coming off of that daily low and seeing how it was putting in all these wicks here, going across the smart rat and the original rat. H4 Bambino flex indicator was saying go short, but that didn't pay off. Near the pivot was supposedly a short, and the first couple of times, looks like it worked once, twice. Near S1, we never got near S1, but we did take out the yearly, or the yesterday's high. On the pivot, we took out the daily pivot. We missed the weekly so far this week, unless there's a big move to the downside. So we've missed the weekly pivot. Looks like 2 weeks in a row. Monthly pivot, and we still haven't hit the new month's pivot, December's pivot, sitting down here. And we've only got 2 missed pivots this year, right now, August and December. Looking back at H4, you can see they've left a bunch of pivots behind here in the past few weeks. In and out of this upper wick zone so far today, and you can see we came out of the lower wick zone, in and out. Once again, price does not like staying in the wick zones. And so we can take a look at the smart ranges. We can take weekly wrap up. You can see right now 142 pips of range, so small range this week, but we did break out of the previous week's high, and we broke out by 118 pips. We did not break out of the previous low, so we've got higher bars happening here. High minus close for you rats, 30. Close minus low, 112 at the moment. And for you buy zone traders, high minus open or weekly crossover traders, 125 to the upside and only 17 to the downside. Price action traders, you can see here, we played with the 25 line, went to the 50, went to the 75, went to the 00. So it's just stair stepping on up. And you can see we had some congestion here, and that's what happened here. And a higher low trade you can see paid off here. Lower high trade right here, that triggered. Both would have made some pips on the short term. Let's take a look at the monthly. We've got a new month already, 105 pips of range. For November, 637 of range. Now if we take a look to the left, we just got a new range winner for the month, 637 pips. But let's take a quick look and see what that ATR percentage looks like. Came in at 121% of ATR. So that's the first time we've met or exceeded ATR, even though September was close. And for those of you who might not be familiar, the average ATR is the average true range, or you could call it its range, but it's a slightly different calculation. You can see here the ATR for October was 580, or rather, and for November was 527, and we exceeded that. So December, we're looking forward to maybe 483 or better. We'll just have to take a look. And then year-to-date accumulated, I don't think we pressed it. We did not, so we're still at 1340. So we'll see if we can break out of either the yearly high or low and extend the range. I probably wouldn't bet on it, but you know, anything can happen. So you have to pretty much trade what you see. We can see what percentage we are at right now. We're at 5.8%. And the largest was back in July at 6.16. So 5% on your money return right there. So that's not too bad. Let's see, is there anything else? And put it back to range. And now looking here at the trade reminder, We'll start with the month. You can see we're above the indicator 2, EMA 5. We're in that upper wick zone. We drop down to the week. Actually, month, we've got that month is turning up still. Strong control of the buyers. We're above the previous mid, above the pivot. We want to fade the pivot if we get a chance on the month. Once again, but we want to drop below the monthly open to fade the pivot. Remember that. On the weekly, above the upper wick zone, buyer strong control, above the previous mid, above the pivot. We want to sell the pivot. Once again, needs to be below that weekly open. We've got a higher high, higher low, so we're tracking higher. And then on the daily, you can see we covered the previous day, where the low of this candle is below the bottom and the high of this candle is above the top. I consider that a cover. So on the daily, we're inside that upper wick zone right now. Buyers strong control, crossed above the previous mid, crossed above the pivot, and a higher high, higher low. So once again, on the state, we've got a state change from lower to higher. And so, fellow traders, that pretty much wraps it up for the week, the month, starting a new month. Let's see, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about next week. So if you guys have any, or traders have any suggestions, just let me know. And Walmart and I will try to answer your questions or explain things if you need more explanation. It's just really interesting though, how many I guess organizations, people are trying to separate you from your money. I just get more ads, more flash, but there's only a couple out there that are saying, hey, you really need to look at the trader in the mirror and figure out what's going on. Because it's really not those methods causing problems. And some of you might think I'm beating a dead horse, but some people have asked, reached out to myself, to Walmart, to both of us. They've asked for help, and we're more than willing to help. And some people are saying, well, how much is it going to cost? We're not charging. I'm not going to charge because people help me, so I turn around. It's paying it forward. That's what I want to do. I want to help traders. Not looking to extract money. Yes, I accept donations, but that's a totally different thing. That's just because those of you who don't know, there's been some real not so nice people, I'll just leave it at that, who said not so nice things about me, and I just don't want them to get some of my code. They don't deserve it. And so if they want it, they can send a donation, but since they don't like me, they're not willing to send a donation. So that's where that all came from. Anyway, I hope December is going to be profitable. I hope you've had a profitable week. I hope you have a profitable month and year, for that matter. So if it's not profitable, maybe you can turn it around this month. You might not get back to even, but if you get closer to even than when you are today, hey, you're headed in the right direction, and isn't that what really matters? So, fellow traders, when you come back to your trading platform, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So this is TheRumpledOne saying, go out there and drain the banks. TheRumpledOne, over and out.